Hola chicos, bienvenidos a otra parte de Tangle Tower. Sinceramente no sé cuánto nos quedará de juego, pero ya estamos por conocer al último personaje, me parece. Por lo menos al último personaje al que vamos a hacerle preguntas. Así que vamos a ver cómo sigue esta historia. ¡Vamos allá! Así que bueno, estábamos en la torre de astronomía y vamos a conocer al profesor Pointer.
Shh, listen. Do you hear them? The stars. They're whispering. So quiet, and yet so loud.
What are they whispering about? Are they spreading rumors about us?
I shouldn't think they concern themselves with such insignificance. We are but specks of dust, you and I.
Mm-hmm. Could this speck of dust start by telling me his name?
You find yourself standing in the astronomy tower of one Professor Percival Pointer.
Seems like this tower belongs to the Pointers, and the other one belongs to the Fellows.
Well observed, my dear. Tangle Tower is something of a duality, as it happens. Meaningless boundaries, really. They exist only in our minds.
Helpful.
Bien. Sobre ti.
Me? Not much to say. Strictly speaking, I'm the current head of the Pointer family. And of course, father to my precious Poppy.
And a professional astronomer?
Oh no, that's just a little hobby. I mean, yes, I've studied the stars for over 35 years, published 17 books.
Just a little hobby.
Sounds like you're quite well known. You must bring in a good amount of money.
Oh dear me, no. My field of research has never yielded any kind of stable financial return, nor would I expect it to. I am nothing but a humble interpreter for the cosmos, working to translate its message so that I may share it with the world.
Cool. Tell the Cosmos I say hi.
Me llama mucho la atención, primero, el pelo con forma de techo, de casa, y los ojos que no sería tanto que estén así estirados, sino que no coinciden. Parece un retrato de Picasso.
The day began as any other, with blissful, unremarkable routine. I took my usual morning walk around the gardens. Fresh air does wonders for the mind.
Did you see anyone else?
Penelope and Fitz were in the greenhouse together. I didn't bother them, of course. I sat for a while besides the pond in the garden. It's a favorite spot of mine. Eventually, I returned to my tower and buried myself in my studies for the afternoon.
Did you use your telescope yesterday?
Once the stars began to appear, naturally.
For how long?
I can't say. I've been known to lose hours at my telescope.
Did you see anything?
No actual discoveries, if that's what you mean.
So you were all alone up in the astronomy tower. Must have been a while before you found out what had happened to Freya.
Quite. Normally, I would be the last to find out about such a thing. But a curious tug of fate led me towards the fellow tower later that evening.
Declaración.
I was at my telescope for the majority of the evening, but at one point I returned to my desk to look something up in a reference book. I couldn't find the book I wanted, so I figured Fiona must have borrowed it. I left my tower and headed down towards the Grand Hall. I spotted Detective Hawkshaw coming out of the library. She looked impatient and slightly frustrated.
Same as ever then?
Quite. I passed her by and went upstairs to Fiona's room. The door was locked, but I could hear shouting coming from inside. I recognized Fiona's voice as well as the voice of my own daughter. I had no desire to invade their privacy by eavesdropping, so I waited for them to finish and come out into the hall. Before I could ask about the book, Poppy grabbed my hand and took me upstairs along with Fiona. It was apparent that both of them had already been crying about something. We went up to Flora's tower. Freya was laying on her back, right in the middle of the room. Flora and Fitz were already there. They both looked stoic as ever. Felix and Penny arrived shortly after we did, and then Fiona went downstairs with Poppy for some reason. I quickly decided that I should leave also. I took Penelope with me, and we both went back to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
Why did you leave so quickly? Wasn't there anything you could have done to help?
Don't take this the wrong way, but the whole ordeal is fellow family business. I'm quite sure they don't need me getting in the way at a time like that.
Para mí, Freya estaba en algo raro. No sé, algo sobrenatural. Aunque no es el estilo, por ahora no veo nada sobrenatural, me da esa impresión por las cosas del diario, qué sé yo. Y Fifi y Poppy sabían. Entonces ellas como que saben qué es lo que pasó, pero... especulaciones. A ver. Le preguntamos por... Empezamos preguntándole por la gente o por las cosas.
So, which one is Tangle Tower?
What's that?
There are 2 towers, right? Flora's tower and your astronomy tower.
Neither? Truly, I have no idea. You'd have to ask Flora.
She named the house?
The whole thing is a result of her squabbling with her family.
With Felix, you mean? Her husband?
No, her brother and sister, and her father. The Remington family was a rather tumultuous little unit, you see. I don't think Flora has spoken with any of them in over a decade. Not exactly a wealth of information, is it?
It's enough.
I find that painting to be in rather bad taste.
Oh yeah?
The knife with real blood on it? The whole thing is rather vulgar.
Este personaje, el Percival, como que no tiene mucho que ver con nada, ¿no? Por ahora conocí todo el resto y este queda medio en la nada. Vamos a preguntarle por
What's
la
this?
lente.
It looks like it might be a telescope. Thought you might know something about it.
Well, it certainly is a telescope. It has a part there to screw onto a tripod, you see. It's rather small, though. I'm not sure you could see many stars with it.
No, probably not.
Y también es como que no hay mucho para qué preguntarle a él. No sé, así que bueno, voy a ir eligiendo algunas cosas, a ver qué onda.
Pointer property originally purloined by the fellows. Typical. Well now, that is most definitely none of my business. Quite possibly none of yours either.
Y si tiene algo que ver con el asesinato, sí.
Poppy's 2 closest friends. Freya looks so innocent there. What a precious photograph. She hasn't changed a bit, has she?
Who?
Oh, if you don't know, perhaps I don't either. Where on earth did you find that?
It was in a bush outside. I think someone threw it away.
How peculiar. I think you may wish to adjust your threshold of what you consider to be a clue.
Es que no sé, sinceramente no hay más para preguntarle a él.
Oh my. This is the first piece that Primrose ever learnt on the piano. Primrose, that is Poppy's mother.
Ajá.
She passed it down to Poppy when she started teaching her how to play.
Poppy's piano teacher was her mother?
Of course. Warms my heart to know that after everything, Poppy still has it up on her wall.
Eso no sabía. Poppy no la nombró como la madre.
Oh, you found a murder weapon?
Steady on. It's just a gardening trowel.
Looks like a weapon to me.
Antes de seguir con este... Ajá. ¿Qué es
That's
esto?
all the statements.
Let's go over them all.
Espera. Antes de eso, y antes de seguir acá, no me quedan claro de dónde sale Penny.
What is
I
that?
think it's a family tree.
¿De dónde sale Penny? Acá, Penélope. O sea que Percival es el tío de Penny, ahí está. Y Penny y Poppy son primas. Eso no entendía, digo, entonces ¿de dónde sale Penny? Bueno. A ver, sobre los personajes.
My Poppy, my pride and joy. exceptionally talented pianist from a young age. She... Hold on. Why is she on your list of suspects?
Because she's a suspect.
Oh no, I can personally vouch for her innocence. She'd never... Well, the truth is, she loved Freya very dearly.
If you don't mind me asking, what happened to Poppy's mother?
Primrose? She was Flora's sister, a Remington by birth. The playing field has never really been even since she left.
Where did she go?
Away. She went away.
Ya, se fue. ¿Qué tipo de pregunta es esa, Grimoire?
Ah, Penelope, our resident ornithologist.
Penny's your niece, is that right?
At this moment in time, until she marries the gardener.
She'll still be your niece.
But she'll depart from the world of the Pointers and join the Fellows. Like rats deserting a sinking ship.
Buah.
What do you want me to say? He's the gardener.
He's a member of the family.
Yeah, but not the Pointer family.
What happened to his parents, do you know?
His father, Flint, is Felix's brother. Strange man. Don't think anybody knows what happened to him, but he certainly doesn't live here anymore.
What about his mother?
Emily? I've not met her. She never actually married into the Fellow family. Her relationship with Flint was, it was short-lived.
Ah, él es el que había contratado a Hawkshaw.
Hard to read, that one, but she seems to know what she's doing.
She's kind of mean.
You know, I simply assumed all detectives were sharp, rigorous, and thorough. Then, of course, I met you.
Ha.
Nobody could deny her talent. She was remarkable, artistically gifted, but also highly intelligent.
Those two things aren't mutually exclusive, you know.
Was she ever interested in astronomy?
I don't think she was. The fault may well lie with me for failing to inspire her. But I think she was captivated by more tangible things here on Earth. My daughter loved her. Fiona, too. That said, in the last year or so, more and more I've begun to notice her by herself, wandering the gardens at the most peculiar hours. She must have explored every inch of the grounds 100 times over. Quite a restless spirit, I think. I'm surprised she chose to live at Tangle Tower as long as she did.
No sé, le sigo preguntando.
Ah, yes, the heiress of Tangle Tower. Goodness knows what'll happen when she takes charge. I dare say she'll confiscate my telescope and replace it with a microscope.
She doesn't seem to be the type to impress her will on others.
Still, keep an eye on her.
No pensé
Dangerously intelligent, that one.
que
You
este
sound jealous.
Percival
Wait, are you two science
pueda
rivals?
ser tan
Oh
malo.
no, we operate on very different wavelengths. Literally.
Va, malo. Forro. No pensé que era así. Yo pensé que iba a ser un buenazo, tranca. Nada que ver. Pues ya está, no tengo ganas de preguntarle por el resto. Porque acá, este era un puzzle, me acuerdo.
You know, I've always wanted one of those.
A mechanical solar system? What would you do with it?
I would look at it.
Ajá.
Wait a minute. Earth in the middle, sun on the outside. How old is this thing?
Gira los 5 planetas. Ah, algo con estos.
I got it.
I'm impressed.
Uno de los que menos me gustaron. No me gustó este puzzle, re difícil de entender.
Something unlocked.
There's a little hatch underneath. What's in there?
A bunch of paper. Looks like somebody's research.
Varias notas y diagramas de una investigación. El escarabajo dorado, llamado así por su exoesqueleto compuesto por un mineral idéntico al oro en un 90% aproximadamente, vive varios años. Se defiende de los depredadores con un fuerte silbido. Se han registrado más de 95 decibelios y por ser totalmente indigerible. Este místido tiene la reputación un tanto espuria de traer mala suerte a quienes lo ven. No, no es lo que crees.
There's something about Hawkshaw's handheld microscope. Something suspicious.
Let's ask her about it.
¡Vamos! La última vez que filmé a Hawkshaw, la filmación me quedó media... se me trababa un poco, así que... perdón y espero que no pase esta vez. Sospecha.
This little microscope thing? You said you used it to search the greenhouse.
And this would make perfect sense, if you knew what my client had asked me to find. Of course, I still have no intention of disclosing that information.
You're such a tease, Hawkshaw. Don't worry, we already worked out what you're searching for.
El escarabajo, pero no daba mala suerte.
You're not as hopeless as you look.
Thanks.
So, that's what you were looking for in the greenhouse? This beetle?
Surely even you can understand the logic of it. The greenhouse is home to a great many insects. The gardener could have easily kept the beetle hidden in there.
Well, Fitz said you questioned him, but didn't actually search the greenhouse.
He's not exactly the type to appreciate subtlety. He simply didn't notice that I was using my microscope.
What do you reckon, Grimoire?
I know for a fact she didn't use the microscope in the greenhouse.
Y no es un microscopio.
It's not a microscope at all.
All of a sudden, Detective Grimoire is some kind of expert on microscopes.
El microscopio portátil está hecho solo con una lente telescópica, así que Hawkshaw mintió al respecto.
The handheld
No?
microscope
No.
is made entirely out of a telescopic lens, so Hawkshaw lied about it. Almost. Maybe just change one thing.
Bueno, acá, el microscopio portátil es parte.
The handheld
No.
microscope is a part of a telescopic lens, so Hawkshaw lied about it. Almost. Maybe just change. The handheld microscope,
Vamos.
according to Fifi, uses a telescopic lens, so Hawkshaw lied about it. I'm inclined to believe Fifi when it comes to stuff like this.
Hawkshaw, why did you lie about owning a telescope?
When you were a child, what did you aspire to become?
A detective? Naturally.
Emperor of the Galaxy?
I wanted to be an astronomer.
Really?
I harbored a desire to understand the secrets of the wider universe. A fool's errand, to be sure, but a seductive one. At 15, I decided instead to apply my intelligence to the world around me. And so, I became a detective. But the yearning for elusive knowledge is a powerful force. I tried to keep it with me.
Sorry, but we're way off track. What's the deal with the little telescope?
A memento of my childhood. Little more than a toy.
Why did you bring it with you?
When I discovered that it was Professor Pointer who had hired me, I dared to consider it something of a planetary alignment. I had hoped he might sign my telescope. An extremely childish indulgence, I admit.
I never would have guessed.
Hold on. You're admitting you didn't use it in the greenhouse then?
Correct. As it happens, I have no need to search the greenhouse to such a degree. Professor Pointer doesn't consider the gardener a suspect in our theft investigation.
So, who is your suspect?
Things have become complicated. My lead suspect is your murder victim.
Está muerto, yo me lo imaginé. Bueno. ¿Esto qué es? Ah, es una... Bueno, ustedes no lo van a ver porque ahí pongo la cámara, pero me da una pista. Sí, porque no quiero ir acá todavía. Porque no tenemos a todos los personajes. No tenemos, creo que todas las pistas. Voy a quedar espacio. Y no, tampoco hicimos sospecha de todos los personajes. Faltan Félix, Penny y Pointer.
A chalkboard?
Is this a library or a classroom?
Ah, esto ya lo habíamos visto, sí.
I'm not sure I learned anything from that.
Perdón. A ver. ¿Qué me podés decir, Fifi, del escarabajo?
Now this is interesting. Where did you find it?
In the astronomy tower.
And yet, it does not concern the field of astronomy.
Nope.
In fact, you could even say that entomology is the exact opposite of astronomy.
Yeah, you could.
I would not say that, however.
Oh, you wouldn't?
No, it would be quite naive. To study science in any field is to study the connections between all matter in the universe, living or inanimate. Who is this her to whom the message refers?
Well, I don't know exactly.
Then how can I meaningfully evaluate this object? Next.
Nada más. Quiero... Bueno, ahora voy. Quiero terminar de hablar... Preguntarle a otros personajes que no hemos preguntado cosas antes de seguir.
So, we found some research. What's up with this golden beetle? Is this something you're studying?
I can't help you, I'm afraid. I think it must be something left behind by a previous inhabitant of Tangle Tower. I'm not the first scientist to ever walk these halls, you know.
Well, it wasn't in the
Mentira.
halls. It was in your astronomy tower.
Mentiroso. Pero quiero preguntarle a... Bueno, Flora no habla, pero... del... Lo que no le... ¡Ay! Sobre Tangle Tower y sobre el expediente. Bueno. Pérdida de tiempo. Vamos con Félix. No hablé más con Félix. Hola Félix, tanto tiempo.
Charming, isn't it? Yes. Built by the Remington family originally. Dear Flora's father and his associates.
But now it's owned by you? By the Fellow family?
The Fellows and the Pointers have both come to claim a certain degree of ownership.
And who named it Tangle Tower?
Flora chose the name.
What does it mean?
I think it was her intention that it mean nothing at all. Something of a fresh start.
From what?
This really isn't for me to say, but she had some kind of disagreement with her siblings. After they moved away, Flora changed the name of the house. I think perhaps she hoped it would make them feel unwelcome. Yes, less likely to come back.
That's kind of extreme.
Yes, it is rather, isn't it? What's this?
It's my case file. It's how I know what I'm supposed to be doing.
You mean to say you're bound by the limits of what's written in this little document? Sounds dreadful.
I found it comforting.
Que me gustó preguntarle a los otros sobre el expediente. ¿Le pregunté todo sobre el expediente y sobre Tangle Tower? A Fifi sí. No sé si le pregunté a Hawkshaw y a Fitz.
Tangle Tower. No idea why they insist on calling it that. It's not even a tower. It's little more than a pair of turrets stuck on either side of a mansion.
Have you searched the whole place?
I believe so. Why?
He wants to know if you found any secret rooms.
Ha!
Huh. I'm afraid the residents of Tangle Tower are far too ordinary for anything like that. I was disappointed too. You truly consider this a case file?
What's wrong with it?
No organization, no system.
That's my style. I like seeing everything laid out at once. Yeah, it helps me think.
How quaint.
Porque si fuera por mí, les digo la verdad, le preguntaría a todos los personajes sobre todo. Pero no creo que sea tan divertido para ustedes.
Where did you find this?
Do you have any theories about where this might have been?
Or who might have had it.
I have several theories, but they are my theories and I'm not going to share them.
Vamos a preguntar... ¡Apa! Vamos a ver si queda algo para preguntarle a Fitz. O algo interesante. El escarabajo, vamos a preguntarle.
I've seen beetles with brightly colored shells, metallic shells even. They're relatively common, especially around here. There's a difference between that and actual gold.
It can't be actual gold. Gold is just inside the earth or whatever. You can't make it. That's called alchemy. It was a whole thing.
Bueno. Y como creo que por el momento no tenemos más nada, sigamos adelante. Igual, ahora que me di cuenta que ese cosito ahí te da ayudas, me volví obse. Porque acá este es el cuarto. No, este es el cuarto Fifi. ¿Sí? ¿Cuál era? Este era el cuarto de Freya. Dice que vuelve al cuarto de Freya. Vamos a ver por qué.
That painting is really something.
Why would you want it looming over your bed like that?
Maybe Freya enjoyed the atmosphere it creates.
The atmosphere of chaos and oppression?
Hang on. There's a smaller version down by the floor.
It's a photograph.
Ajá, una foto de cuadro, una pequeña fotografía del cuadro abstracto de Freya. Tiene pegado un trozo de cinta adhesiva, han dibujado líneas con tinta negra cerca de los bordes. Que esto se ve que me lo pasé de alto.
A pillow with a paw print pattern.
It's a cushion.
Yeah, but that doesn't illustrate.
Pero igual no sé a quién preguntarle. Y no sé por qué el cuarto de Fifi tiene esa... Esto acá. Bueno. A ver. Declaración de los sospechosos.
Statements collected. Let's run through them all to see if anything doesn't add up.
To see if anyone's been lying.
That too.
Fitz and I were up in the moonlight garden most of the afternoon. Then we heard this sound. Lasted about 3 seconds.
We thought it was coming from Flora's tower, so we went up there.
Her door was locked. Nobody was answering. So I made Fitz kick down the door.
Poppy and I went in. Freya was right there, laying on her back.
I left my tower and headed down towards the Grand Hall.
But in the hall, I spotted Uncle Pointer heading down the stairs. I vacated the library, but before I could begin my ascent, Professor Pointer appeared.
I didn't know what to do, so I ran downstairs to get Fifi.
I heard someone heading down the stairs. They're just outside my room.
Someone began banging on the door. I ignored it until the someone began shouting at me.
Eventually, she let me in.
I spotted Detective Hawkshaw coming out of the library.
He emerged from the pointer staircase, crossed the hall, and begun up the fellow staircase. As I was passing through the front door, Penelope called out from behind me. I inquired about the professor, and she told me he'd gone up the fellow tower.
I told her what had happened. She didn't believe me. She got angry.
I thought she was playing a trick on me, so I punched her in the face.
I recognized Fiona's voice as well as the voice of my own daughter.
We left the room, and Poppy's father was waiting outside. He followed us upstairs.
I ran up the stairs, hoping to catch up with him, but Felix appeared and blocked my path.
Back in the hallway, I bumped into a very concerned-looking Penelope. She was heading up Fellow Tower to find Professor Pointer, so I escorted her.
Poppy left the room for a while. When she came back, she had her father with her, and Fifi too.
Felix and Penny arrived shortly after we did.
A moment later, we were gazing down on the body of poor Freya.
Then, I took a sample of the red paint on the unfinished painting.
She took me down to the library. We were in there about 15 minutes.
I quickly decided that I should leave also. I took Penelope with me, and we both went back to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
I wanted to go back to my room, but I realized nobody had told Detective Hawkshaw anything.
An unremarkable hour passed before the gardener finally made his appearance.
I think she was annoyed about being made to wait outside so long. But when I told her about Freya, she fell silent.
That's disappointing.
What is?
All the statements line up with each other.
Ajá.
They don't just line up. Some of them even seem to specifically confirm each other.
Así es. Bueno. ¿Ya está?
It's a bird bath. Is that just rainwater? Looks a little weird.
The birds seem to like it.
They're even singing a little tune. Toot, 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 toot.
Please don't do that.
Y a mí me queda pendiente la estatua.
I'm still not sure about this thing.
Should we take another look?
¿Por qué no?
Let's come back later.
Algo me falta. ¿Pero qué más vamos a hablar con Fifi? Me dice la prueba. La foto.
I believe Freya was attempting to communicate something through this painting.
Any idea what it was?
I am not the person to ask. All I see is a blood-red mountain with angry storm clouds brewing above it. As such, I cannot ascertain any meaning from it whatsoever.
Spooky. What do you think it's for?
I think it's to scare away detectives.
Is it working?
No.
Nos falta... No sospechamos ni de Pointer, ni de Penny, ni de Félix. Así que bueno, vamos a seguir hablando con los demás a ver qué onda.
Name, Percival Pointer. Age, 57. Profession, none.
I'm pretty sure he's an astronomer.
Oh yes, of course. How uncharacteristically forgetful of me. Name, Penelope Pointer. Age, 27. Profession, ornithologist. Likes, birds. Dislikes, insects. Notes, Penelope is very beautiful. I have never had very much in common with her.
A mí tampoco me gustan los bichos. Los odio.
Name, Hawkshaw. Age, unknown. Profession, private detective. Likes, quote, being left alone. Dislikes, quote, being constantly badgered by a weirdo nerd with a clipboard.
La cara. Y bueno, le preguntaré el resto de las cosas.
It is a flower. It reminds me of something, but I cannot say what.
Bueno, le voy a preguntar hasta dar con algo.
An item from Poppy's
Les voy a
childhood.
preguntar a los demás.
Her earliest piano lessons hold some special significance for her.
Why's that?
No idea. She has never graced me with the details, and I am not forthcoming enough to ask.
You two are friends, right?
We are, yes.
But
It is clear to me now that Poppy has become tired of my company.
is it anything to do with Freya?
Pobre Fifi.
No. The changes in Poppy's mood have nothing to do with Freya. Her concerns simply lie elsewhere.
Pobre Fifi.
Why did Poppy leave shards of glass all over this statue?
What makes you think it was Poppy?
The statue lives in the music room. Who else would it be? That blade.
It's a troll for gardening.
It is. A wooden carving of my father, made by my father. Although, now that I look at it, I do not understand how he was able to paint the red parts without any red paint.
Oh, ahí tenemos. Ahí tenemos la sospecha.
It is a model of Freya, made by my father.
A model of Flora, you mean?
And a man with a beard. And a little red and white creature.
Why would my father make a model of Freya?
Ahí tenemos para preguntarle a Félix, seguro.
The red paint on the brush is not paint. It is blood. Same for the palette.
So Freya added the blood to the painting herself?
Or blood got on the brush and palette some other way?
I do not know the answer.
Ah,
Fifi, did you test the red paint in this pot?
Yes, I did. I discovered it too was blood, not paint.
A
datazo.
whole pot full of blood?
Not a whole
Esa.
pot. It is only partially full.
Yeah, but still. Doesn't that freak you out?
No. In fact, it may be considered rather reassuring.
Bueno.
There's something about
Eh.
Felix's painting supplies.
Ahí podemos preguntarle a Félix.
Suspicious.
Let's ask him about it.
Vamos. Sospecha.
So, about this paint we found in your room.
Nothing suspicious about it.
Ponele.
I used it to paint, obviously. Totally normal thing to do.
We never said it was suspicious.
Ajá.
Come on then, out with it. What exactly are you
Te agarraste
accusing?
solo. El tarro de pintura no es tuyo.
It's not your paint pot. Did you take it from somewhere else?
What on earth? It's definitely mine. I even have proof. Look, the lid matches the ones on all my other paint pots. End of discussion.
That's not the end of the discussion.
We need a clue to compare with Felix's red paint. Something to prove who it actually belongs to.
Tengo. No sé si o el pincel y la paleta o la foto del cuadro. A ver.
That almost makes sense, but it's not right.
Bueno.
That's not right.
Bueno.
We need a clue that's got some connection to this one.
Y bueno, estoy probando. Ah, las de Freya, ahí está, las pinturas Freya, perdón.
Let's take a closer look at this.
Era medio obvio. A ver. El tarro de pintura roja de Freya fue robado y reemplazado por el tarro de pintura rojo de Félix. ¿Pero Freya se dio cuenta de lo que había sucedido?
Freya's
No.
red paint pot was stolen and replaced with Felix's red paint pot. But Freya noticed what has happened. Almost. Maybe just change one thing.
Bueno. ¿Pero intercambió las tapas para ocultarlo?
Freya's
¡Esa!
was stolen and replaced with Felix's red paint pot, but the lids were swapped to hide it.
That red paint is from Freya's supplies, not yours. Swapping the lids doesn't hide what you did.
Why are you bothering me about paint anyway? and none of this is connected to your
Yo
murder.
estaba pensando eso, Félix. Pero se ve que sí. A ver. ¿Por qué el agua del lago? A ver. Sirvió para sangre. Sirvió para llenar este tarro de pintura roja. Después de que Freya lo usara para pintar a Flora.
Blood was used to fill up this red paint pot after Freya used it to paint Flora.
No, porque no fue después. ¿Por Freya hace varias semanas?
Blood was used to fill up this red paint pot by Freya several weeks ago. That's not right. Blood was used to fill up this red paint pot and then locked away. That's not right either.
Ahora estoy aprendiendo que tenemos, que hay un botón para ayuda. ¿Qué? Mongi. Pintura roja. No, este tarro de pintura roja no contenía pintura roja. ¿Fue vacío en el suelo?
This red paint pot
No.
contained no red paint and emptied out onto the floor. That's not right either.
Bueno. Este tarro de pintura roja había sido vaciado de toda su pintura roja después de que Freya lo usara para pintar a Flora.
This red paint pot
No.
had been emptied of all its red paint after Freya used it to paint Flora. That's not right either.
¡Demonios! Este tarro de pintura roja de alguna manera se llenó de sangre. Y luego, antes Freya lo usaba para pintar a Flora.
This red paint
¡Vamos!
pot
¿Cómo me
was
costó
somehow
esta?
filled with blood before Freya used it to paint Flora.
¿Cómo me costó esta?
That's definitely something. Right. Fine. Here's the story. I was busy working on a project when I suddenly realized I had run out of red paint. There was a certain amount of time pressure, so I politely asked Freya if I could borrow hers. Just for a little while, you know. Perfectly reasonable request.
But she said no.
I tried to explain why I needed it, but she didn't seem to care. So, well, I took Freya's red paint pot and swapped it with my own empty one.
You went into her room?
¡Qué malo!
Not my proudest moment, but it's just paint. I didn't touch anything else.
¡Qué malo que
And the paint pot
sos!
you left behind was definitely empty?
Quite. I have absolutely no idea how it got blood in it, if that's what you're asking.
Why were you in such a hurry to get a hold of red paint anyway?
I was trying to finish this in time for Flora's birthday. I needed red to paint the final details.
Could you not have just used a different color?
Out of the question. It had to be red and white.
If you managed to finish it, why haven't you given it to Flora yet?
Well, I decided against it in the end. After what happened, seemed a bit insensitive.
Bueno.
The bell jar. It's empty.
What do people normally keep in bell jars?
Other than bells, you mean?
Bueno.
It's too cloudy to see any stars right now.
It's also daytime. Pretty.
It's too cloudy.
It's also daytime.
It's a chart of the solar system. Which planet are you from, Sally? It's a chart of which planet? It's tidier than my desk.
So, even the most well-used notebooks.
It's tidier than my desk.
Bueno.
Even the most well-used notebook. What is it?
It's a large...
You're not wrong.
Artilugio grande.
A spyglass to the stars. Volumes 1 to 12.
They're in very good condition. There's something kinda disappointing about this room. I just expected a bit more from an astronomy tower.
Oh, does it not compare to all the other astronomy towers you've been to?
A ver. No me acuerdo de quiénes más nos faltaban. Ay, bueno, no importa. A Penélope nos falta. A Penny. Ah, a Penny y a Pointer. Bueno.
I don't like mirrors. They steal your soul.
How do you get your hair so symmetrical without using...
I do by weight. I can feel if one side is heavy. Check out that butterfly.
Looks evil.
Wow, judgmental.
A ver si nos queda algo por preguntar.
Can't say I've ever taken an interest in Uncle's astronomy. On occasion I've dared to visit him in his tower, but I always regret it. It's all just a little too abstract for me.
What do you mean?
Oh, did you know the sun is apparently over 400,000 miles wide? Okay, so what should I do with that information? How does it help me?
Don't look at me. You're the one who memorized it.
Pero me ha pasado que voy a decir, ¿para qué quieres esa información? La tengo en la cabeza.
Not a fan of insects myself. Whose research is this?
We were hoping you might know.
No, can't say I... Freya, perhaps. I know she was always very fond of grubby little things like this.
Buah,
Noted.
mugrientos.
Poppy's gramophone. She's had it for a long time. As a young child, she'd call it her mama phone, on account of it belonging to her mother.
That's cute.
Oh yes, adorable.
Vamos a preguntarle, ya que me faltan Poppy y Pointer, vamos a preguntar... Poppy, Penny y Pointer, vamos a preguntarle al resto sobre ellos dos, a ver qué onda. La música me toma siempre desprevenida.
Eavesdrop what the stars are saying. Earthly tether,
Cierto que esta
soul
hablaba
flame, floating helpless from the
en poesía.
waste of jealous hunger, selfish thirst. Take a moment, kneel and meet the flowers growing at your feet. Feathers flashing in the light from a sunbeam gleaming bright. I shield my eyes and turn my head, but all at once I've been misled. Light is shining on the stage, but through the railings of a cage.
Y cosas.
Hey, that's me. Not a bad likeness.
It looks like you're standing in a rose bush.
Is there something wrong with that? Those petals.
What about them?
It's nothing. They're just unusual. Never seen that one before. Was it in the greenhouse?
No, we found it in Penny's room.
Right. You get some weird insects around here, but I've never seen one like that.
I'm not sure anyone has.
Freya might have. She used to keep beetles in a box in her room.
Why?
For fun, obviously.
Qué divertido, escarabajos en una caja. A ver, Fitz, ¿vos tenés algo que decirme? Pointer.
I imagine you don't visit the astronomy tower too often, do you?
No, but I still see Pointer, sometimes. He's always curious about what I'm growing in the greenhouse. Asks me about the birds, too, and insects. He's pretty clued up on his evolutionary biology.
I didn't think there was much overlap between astronomy and biology.
Bueno. Y cosas... ¿Los dibujos?
Fitz, one of these drawings is of you, in the rooftop garden, I think, with Poppy.
Are we done?
¿Y qué hay? ¿Qué hay? Y Hawkshaw.
Professor Pointer is a respectable astronomer. Keeps himself to himself. What?
We're just surprised.
That was the most polite you've been about anyone.
¿Y por qué es su fan? Es su fan número 1.
I find her rather embarrassing. Little more than a spoiled child.
Penny must be at least 25.
27. Just makes it worse. Poppy has remarkable musical talent. She could be famous, wealthy even, if she wanted to.
I should probably have to leave Tangle Tower first.
Quite. I'll say this, he's well suited to physical labor.
That's a nice way to put it.
Fitz spends most of his time alone in the greenhouse, but I heard he's been breeding experimental flowers in secret.
Flores experimentales.
Scandal.
I just
Escandaloso.
wonder if he's getting restless.
Bueno, no conseguí nada todavía. Así que se ve que tengo que preguntarle por más cosas. Pero voy a... Ah, no. Perdón.
Trinkets.
They're clearly gizmos.
Trinkets.
They're clearly gizmos.
Ah, no le pregunté a él sobre todos. Bueno.
I don't especially want to talk about myself. Introspection often leads to vanity.
Wait, does it?
Why don't we discuss the moons of Jupiter instead?
I'm not sure if we have time. Aren't there like 10 of them?
83.
Yeah, we don't have time.
Sí, no tenemos tiempo.
He should learn to make the most of his lot in life. And he does have a lot in life.
You're talking about money?
Among other things, but yes, he currently has agency over a small fortune. That is, if he hasn't already squandered it or lost it.
You two don't get on?
Oh no, we're the best of friends.
Los mejores amigos. Bueno.
A listless soul drifting through the ether.
What's wrong with her?
Not sure. She's always been troubled. Comes from a dysfunctional family. I'd say you could ask her about it, but I think you might find that to be a bit of a dead end.
Bueno chicos, acá vamos a dejar esta parte de Tangle Tower. Creo que estamos muy cerca de, no sé si el final, pero por lo menos descubrir qué onda, qué pasó acá. Así que bueno, espero que les esté gustando y espero que me sigan en esta Odisea. Y nos vemos la próxima.
Si te gustó este video, danos ese like y suscríbete. Pásaselo a tus amigos.
Y no olvides seguirnos en nuestras redes sociales para enterarte de las novedades. Desde ya, muchas gracias.
Y nos vemos en la próxima Odisea.